We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com.
Moving on to Josh B. Josh wants to set up a 7.2.4 Atmos configuration using a Pioneer Elite LX801 AV receiver. It has 9 amps built in, but Josh already owns a 7-channel Outlaw audio amp, so he figures he has all the amplification he needs.
You do,
that
Josh.
too, yeah.
You do.
The Pioneer manual is a bit confusing, though. Josh wants to power his 7, quote, ear-level speakers using his Outlaw amp, and then have the Pioneer power the 4 ceiling speakers. Is that achievable? And if so, what are the settings that he needs to make in Pioneer's menus? That sounds achievable. Rob, did you research that Pioneer Elite LX801 and can tell him exactly the settings?
I sure did, and actually that was very coincidental because we've had that ongoing conversation with Mark from Accessories for Less, who's now selling Pioneer Elite receivers at Accessories for Less and wants Tom to try one. So yeah, I was already looking at models like the 701, 801, and 901. Those are the ones that can all process 11 speakers.
Okay.
So the short answer is yes, it's 100% achievable.
All right.
The actual only setting you need to make is in the amplifier assign. Now, again, I agree. This is confusing because you're like, amplifier assign, is that where I get to assign where the amplifiers go?
No, it can't possibly be that, no.
It isn't. That's where you get to choose what your configuration is. So they could call it configuration assign or speaker setup or something like that, but they call it amplifier assign. And in there, you simply need to say, I have 7.2.4, not 5.2.4, not 5.1, not 7.1. I have 7.2.4, and that's it. You're done. You are already now configured to do what you wanted to do, which is power the 7 speakers that are the traditional 7 speakers around you, and then the Pioneer can itself power the 4 on the ceiling. You're already done. So yeah, that's the long and short of it. Now, to get a little bit more into the detail for other people who might be looking at this, the Pioneers are not super duper flexible. All right. They have these ones like the 801 has 9 amplifiers built in. So that means if you're running 11 speakers, like a 7.2.4 configuration, 2 of those speakers must be powered externally, right? You only have 9 internal amps.
Sure.
So 2 must be powered externally. And you have, in the case of the Pioneer 701 and 801, no choice about which 2 must be powered externally. The surround back speakers must be powered externally.
Okay.
And that's the end of the story. So if you were like, I have an external 2-channel amp, and I would like to use that external 2-channel amp to power my front, left, and right speakers, and then let the 9 internal amps of the Pioneer power all the remaining speakers, you can't do that.
You'd still need 2 more channels for the surround back. Is that what you're saying?
You'd still need 2 more for the surround back. Now, you can very much power the front, left, and right speakers with an external amp. It has all the pre-outs for it.
Okay.
But the surround backs will still be silent unless you plug a external 2-channel amp into those.
So end of story, your surround backs have to be another amp.
Your surround backs, when you're running 11 speakers.
When you do 11 speakers, yeah.
Your surround backs have to be powered externally. All the other ones can be if you want them to be. The pre-outs are always active, but the surround backs have to be powered externally. Now, there's one last thing, which is that Pioneer gives you a miscellaneous menu. Right? You go into its settings, and there is a miscellaneous, and under there is a preamp mode. That's one of the options.
Okay.
Now, preamp mode, if you turn it all the way on, shuts off all the internal amplifiers and says, now you must power everything externally. Which some people want to do, right?
Yeah.
It also gives you the option to turn off the power going to just the front, left, and right speakers, or the front 3 speakers, left, center, and right.
Okay.
I don't know what that achieves. Power is drawn by the speakers, isn't pushed into the speaker binding posts.
Yeah.
So I don't know what difference that possibly makes, but there it is, I guess.
You can turn them off.
Because some users wanted to. But yeah, honestly, just say, I got 7.2.4, plug in your Outlaw amp to your 7 ear level speakers, plug your overhead speakers directly into the Pioneer's height 1 and height 2 binding posts, and you're done.
And you're done. So, yay, that was a nice, easy answer and good learning happening right there.
Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.